This year, I made it a personal goal of mine to hit $1 million in Forex profits. And this month, I finally hit it. But before I get to that, I want to tell you guys how I went from being a 16-year-old who was dead broke, trying to make money by freelance video editing, to becoming a 21-year-old millionaire. This all started back in high school. Back when I was 16, I used to freelance video edit to make my money on the side, and I used to run track. Now, I always thought track was gonna be my thing. I remember my coach and I were talking about me racing in the Olympics. I was a huge prospect heading into college, and I had just broken my high school record. So everything was aligning for me to become a track athlete. Then, right when I was at the peak of my career, I tore my hamstring, and it looked like I was never gonna race again. Every time I came back, I'd tear my hamstring again, and it was this huge mess. So I went from having 40 plus college offers to not even knowing what I'm gonna do with my life. I remember at one of my track practices, some guy told me he was doing Forex, and during my injury time, he tries getting me to sign up for something that you guys know as IML. Now what's funny is this guy was in IML, and it cost $200 a month, but I was literally so broke that I couldn't afford IML. Like, the only reason why I never joined IML was because I couldn't afford that $200 a month. I remember telling my dad, like, hey, can you please, let me join? I want to get into this so I can make money. And he just laughed in my face like, yeah, that stuff is a huge scam. I remember being in that phase where I'm young, I'm hungry, I have drive, but I don't know what I want to do. And I was seeing my buddies start to sell Frenchies, making all this money. I know a lot of people who made some unemployment money during COVID, and I was always too scared to go any of those sketchy routes. So I was sitting there with literally no money as all my friends are dropping bags, we're 17 and 18 years old, and they're living the high life, and I'm just there sitting on the sidelines wanting to join in. So it got to the point where I ended up buying this Forex course for $10, and I saved all this money for 6 months from my video editing, which was $3,000. At the time, that was everything I had. I took one small part of this course, put all that money into an account, and blew it in one day. I now am left with no money. So now I'm 17 years old, I have a big dream to become a millionaire, and I don't even know what to do. So I turned to my brother, to my dad, and started asking them to hire me, and both of them just told me to focus on school. But deep down, I knew school was not it, and that Forex was what I wanted to do. When I saw my account jump in profits so quickly, even though I blew my entire account, I knew that the possibilities from trading are gonna open way more doors for me than anything else in this world could. So I started grinding, started putting my editing work out there, and actually was able to bring on a lot of projects and charge people anywhere from $500 to $750. So on an average month, I was making around $3,000 at 18 years old, and it really helped me get kickstarted in the game. From this point, I bought an actual course, dropped out of college, and told myself, I have 6 months to make this work. If I can't make this work, I'm gonna completely quit trading, and I'm gonna go back to school and focus on this, and I don't know, pursue a career in film. I always thought I was gonna be a filmmaker for some reason. Over those next 6 months, I woke up every day at 6 a.m. I traded NASDAQ and US 30. I journaled every single trade, and I was always looking for ways to get better. Everything in my life at this point was about bettering myself so that later on I can make a drastic effect. So over those 6 months, I was building pieces and pieces, like brick by brick, trying to get better at trading. And I managed to get myself funded on a prop firm, which I actually secured a payout on. Now that payout was an absolute Hail Mary. It was literally one day I was about to blow my account. I full margin gold and somehow made $15,000, but my account was 8K in drawdown. So I was up about 6K in the end after all the commissions and everything. By the time I withdrew, I had Bitcoin worth $5,000, which is the most amount I had ever seen. I remember this was right around the time of my sister's wedding. And so the night before her wedding, my family and I were all getting dinner. And I did something that I always dreamed of doing, which was taking my family out to dinner. Nobody had any idea. I just went to the bathroom and gave the server my card, and the bill came back. I signed the paperwork. I was able to tell my dad, hey, I got you this time. It was one of the greatest feelings I've ever felt in my life. Fast forward another 2 months, I take my savings and what I have left from that payout, and I open my first $10,000 live account. From that point, I decide, hey, well, on a prop firm, I was risking 1%. So on my live account, I'm gonna risk 1%. And I was consistently making 30% a month. So I'm continuously making 3K a month from trading, and life is going good. Everything is going great. I'm showing myself that there is consistency in this. Eventually, I get to a point where I wanted to learn how to trade at a higher level. So I found someone who was amazing at trading fundamentals, who was James Storms, and I paid him $5K for a mentorship so I could learn how to trade fundamentals. I told myself, this isn't a stupid thing. I'm investing in my future, which is exactly what I need to do to reach the next level. And so I flew out to New York, learned from James for an entire week. And I remember the first day I got back from New York, I made $10,000 on a trade. So my whole mentorship was paid off double. Over that next year, I opened Pip and Dip, which is my trading brand. This is exactly where I teach people how I trade and I show them my exact trades. Everything that I do in the trading industry is branded under Pip and Dip. Pip and Dip started to grow really rapidly, and eventually, after I was making a consistent 5 to 10K a month, I was able to open a live trading signal room where people would pay me essentially to see my trading calls. This was banking me around another $2,000 a month. So now I'm making 5K from trading, 3K from video editing, and 2K from signals. So in total, I'm making $10,000 a month at the age of 19 years old. So I had opened my live trading room, and at this point, I decided, let's get funded on a prop firm again. I've seen so much consistency on my small account. Let's try to scale this up. So in March of 2023, I actually managed to get funded 300K total from Fortune's funding. May they rest in peace. But I was able to get in early enough where prop firms were not having any issues with people. And I actually, on my first 100K funding, first day, banked $30,000 in one trade. I waited the 3 weeks to withdraw. Then I took that money out just so it could be real. At that point, I knew, okay, now my discipline has reached a new level because I'm not even trading every single day. I took one trade across those 21 days and then just waited for stuff to hit. I got funded another 200K after that account. And then off of that, I made $46,000. So now just in 2 months, I've made $76,000. So I've completely changed my life around right at my 20th birthday. And I booked a trip to Spain, which was a dream of mine. And I got to see my favorite club, Atletico Madrid, play live, and I also got to meet the players, which was like a dream come true. Everything that I'm accomplishing from trading is allowing me to unlock new doors and new doors in my life, and the potentials are still endless. Fast forward to August 23rd, 2023, I decided, hey, you know what? I have about $50,000 in the bank saved and I want to challenge myself. So I put 5K into an account. 5K was something that I was comfortable losing, and I had already seen consistency and growth in myself. And I was like, hey, let's see what we can do with this money. Right off the bat, I put 25% risk on a trade and I turned my 5K into 17K in one day. The next day, I take that 17K and I turn it to 40K. And the third day, I take that 40K and I turn it to $131,000. It was the most insane thing I had ever seen, but I was like, oh my God, this isn't something that we can replicate every single day. I'm gonna be smart and I'm gonna take this money out. One huge thing I've always done is believe in good habits, meaning if I could trade today and make $10,000, I can trade maybe not tomorrow, but when the next setup occurs and make another $10,000. It's not a fluke. So I took out $70,000 and flew my brother and I out to Spain and Egypt, where my brother and I spent the next 5 weeks of our lives overseas, splurging money and just living it up. When I got back from my trip, I had this huge feeling that something was missing in my life. And I decided, you know what? We need to go harder and go bigger. So I decided to challenge myself. Before this, I had flipped small accounts to 40K, to 30K, to 50K, and then finally flipped it to 100K. And I was like, hey, you know what? I want to challenge myself to make $1 million in profits on the charts. Up to this point, I'd say I had made around $250,000 just off of trading. Now, I knew that there was a long way to go, but I knew that it was very possible. So then that November, when I'm back from my vacation, I challenged myself and actually make 60K on my live account. December rolls in and that month gets better, I actually make 80K. January rolls in and everything is starting to just spiral on upwards. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, the money is just going and going and going. 80K January, 80K February. March, I end up making $332,000, where I literally smashed like only 6 trades that month, held them for like an entire week, and everything was hitting. I even managed to hit my craziest day that month, which was $116,000 in one day. And that was another account flip. So usually when I'm trading, I'm not trading on a large scale account. I'm doing the same thing I always do, which is I'm taking a small portion of my bank account, depositing it in a live account, and trying to flip that very aggressively versus having one big account and trying to actively take small percentages. Then April, I actually had a setback where I lost for the first time ever in like a year. It was my losing month. I lost like 80K, which is funny because I started April out up $80,000 and I was like, yo, trading is never gonna fail again. Like I just smashed 300K last month. This month I'm already up 80K and everything is gonna go great. So the next 3 months, I started trading on larger accounts and saw some of the best returns. I mean, I made over 100K each month for those next 3 months. And finally this July, I just smashed NFP yesterday and finally hit that $1 million in Forex profits mark. Now guys, this didn't just happen because I was special or gifted or anything like that. In life, I was honestly a freaking loser. I lost a lot, I failed a lot, I was a bench warmer, but I was able to turn these things around because I just had dedication and drive. And I want you guys to know that anything is possible if you can see it up here you can convert it to the outside. So I always believe if God has given you that vision and that drive, then he's given it to you, and nobody else has the right to tell you if you can or can't do that. It's all going to come within your heart and within your mind. Because if you can push through all the bad days and put on your best suit and do the things you don't want to do every single day, you're going to notice that over time, you're just going to keep growing and getting better. And if you guys want to keep up with me, make sure to follow my Instagram, make sure to join my free Telegram, and join my free Discord, where I'm educating thousands of people every single day and trading live with them, showing them exactly what I do. You will never get this type of content anywhere else as transparent as I do it. I hope you guys like this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.